I'm joined here again today by Jake, and we're going to show you some of the features of the mas-g Advanced Airsoft Grenade. We're also going to go into a little more depth on how it works and answer some of your questions that you've asked us online.
So Lee, how easy is it to load and deploy the mas-g?
Which actually is very simple. To put a primer in, first of all you have to cock the mas-g one of its two positions. Now you're doing this because the firing pin would actually be in the chamber, will prevent you from opening it. So what you do is you rotate the base and the mas-g one position clockwise, and then you go back like that. Okay, now what that's done is it's taken the hammer away from the firing pin and allowed the firing pin to come out of the chamber. Then you can open the chamber, which you do like this. Yeah?
Yeah.
You put in your primer, close the chamber. There are a couple of magnets that keep the chamber closed.
Okay, but is there any chance, like during deployment, or when you throw it to use it, that the chamber could possibly open up?
No, because when you cock it again and it's cocked properly, there's a little catch here on the chamber. You see that there? There's like a little notch. Can you see that there? Yeah. And what happens is when that's closed and you cock it again, something locates into that catch and prevents it from opening. So it can only open when it's discharged.
Oh, okay then.
Yeah. So literally, you take a primer. This is how simple it is to load. You take a primer, you drop your primer in there, you close it up, you cock it again. Now, I mean, that's taken me literally seconds, and you know with most BFGs, you have to physically unscrew something.
Yes.
You have to put in a primer, you have to screw it back on. You need three hands. You need a hand to hold the part you're taking off, you need a hand to hold the grenade, you need a hand to hold the primer.
Yeah.
Well, as you can see, I've just done that with two hands.
So do you want to show us what you can do then?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so obviously it's got a few different modes, people know about that. You've got a grenade mode, which is a countdown grenade, an impact grenade. And you've got tilt mode, which is, or shock mode if you like, which detects any rotational movement of the grenade. And then you've got tripwire. Now, there's a delay that you can put in there, and the delay, you can use that in all different modes. And a lot of people get confused by this. So for example, if it was in tripwire mode, you might have it set to 0, which means as soon as somebody walks past, it goes bang. Okay, that's great, but you're only going to take out the first person who walks through. Now I'd like to take out the whole squad.
Yeah.
So I'd probably set a 4-second delay in there. So when somebody walks past, it starts counting down, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then everyone's in the room, bang, or in the area. Yeah?
Yep.
So I'm going to just show you the basic one first of all, which is grenade mode. So we're going to turn on the grenade by pushing the button. Little LED comes on. As soon as that comes on, you can turn it off because it knows you push the button. It's waiting for you to let go.
Okay.
Okay. Now right away we've got a G there, and G stands for grenade. Now I can dial in a delay. So see, it's just turned itself off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great function because if you turn it on, the last thing you want to do is turn it on and leave it on.
Yeah.
Okay. We've all had things before where you turn them on, you leave them on, batteries flat.
Yeah.
This can't do that. 10 seconds maximum is off, completely off.
Okay then.
So that's going to maximise the battery life.
Okay, so but onto the battery life side of it.
Yeah.
What is the general battery life of it before you have to recharge it?
Yeah, well that's a really hard thing to specify because it totally depends on how much you use it. Yeah, I mean if you were setting this grenade off using the .209 base that's got a motor,
yeah,
and you were setting it off using countdown mode, probably once every 10 minutes,
yeah,
it would last you all day.
Oh, okay then.
So, I mean, you can have no issues with this lasting you on a milsim weekend,
Yeah.
no problems at all. Yeah, takes about an hour to charge.
Yeah.
It'll charge from pretty much any USB socket. So yeah, so should we run through some of the modes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Show us.
Okay, so turn the mas-g on, push the button, G for grenade. Now, if I push the button once, I get 0.
Yeah.
That's impact. We don't want impact right now. What we're going to do is we're going to dial in a delay. Okay, 2 seconds. I've held the button down after 2 seconds. I'm going to let go.
Yep.
As soon as I let go, it's going to start that countdown. Okay. Okay. So literally, it's that simple.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, if you notice now, we've got a little flashing LED. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just in there. Okay. Now, I think it's a lot brighter than you can see here. But yeah, so every time the mas-g detonates, it goes into what's called find me.
Okay.
Where it flashes an LED for 10 milliseconds.
Yep.
A hundredth of a second, and then it sleeps for the rest of the time.
Okay then.
Yeah, and it will just keep on doing that.
So it doesn't have like a timeout timer?
Nope. It will keep doing that until the battery gets to about 3.6 volts, and then it will turn itself off.
Okay then. Say I throw that at the beginning of the day into a dark room.
Yeah.
And I can't find it. How long is that red light going to beep for before?
Probably a couple of days.
Really?
2 or more days it's going to be doing that for.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, at least.
So generally any airsoft site, when you report a day is missing, generally you're going to find out within that 2-day period, as long as it's not in a stupid bus.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely that. And once you've found it, all you do is you pick it up, you push the button till it says F for found.
Okay.
You let go, and it'll do OFF off, turn itself off.
Okay.
That's the standard off. If it's going to go off, it'll go OFF,
yeah,
and it's turn itself off. Now, if you have a look on the side, can you see in there? Just in there?
Yeah.
Now, this is the display of the mas-g.
Yeah.
Now, on the side, there's a serial number. We put a serial number on there.
Okay.
Okay. Which is letter number, and we do that so it can never be misentered.
Yes.
Okay. Now, the idea is with this is that someone finds this mas-g, they go onto the web page.
Yeah.
Okay. They put in their phone number or their email address.
Okay.
They put in the serial number of the mas-g that they found.
Yeah.
And the registered owner will get an email with those details. So you've lost your mas-g.
Yeah.
I find it in some sand or something.
Okay.
It's 6 months. I go, oh, there's a serial number on there. I go onto the website. I put that serial number in.
Yeah.
And I put my phone number in. You'll get an email with my phone number.
Oh, okay.
Telling you that I found your mas-g.
That's definitely an interesting concept for that way of doing it. But say if you was the sort of person that, when you found it, you're going to try and keep it yourself.
Yeah.
What's to stop you from just taking that bit of equipment and going off charging it with a standard USB charger and then using it in the next game?
Yeah, well, people have asked us that actually. Now, the thing about the mas-g and what we've done is we've tried to make it secure. Now, obviously, this is not a cheap bit of kit.
No, definitely not.
This is like £100 piece of airsoft equipment, and it's quite easy to steal.
Yeah.
So what we've done is we've designed into the mas-g communication with the charger.
Okay.
Okay. Now, the mas-g will not charge unless it talks to its assigned charger first. Okay. There is all the charging is done within the mas-g. The charging circuit and everything is not in the charger itself.
Right.
The charger, all the charger does effectively is say, hey, I'm your charger.
Yeah.
You can charge now.
Okay.
That's what it does. Okay. And the mas-g says, okay, yeah, that's great. I'm going to start charging.
Yeah.
So even if you manage to poke some wires in under the mas-g, or even if you use someone else's charger,
yeah,
it's not going to say I'm your charger.
Oh, okay.
Which is how the mas-g works.
Right.
So I mean, they could steal it and they could use it probably for a day. Then it would be like a paperweight. Effectively, it would be completely useless to them.
Interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, what I've got here is a portable USB power pack. I think most people are familiar with those. You get big fat ones like this. You get slim ones like this. Yeah.
Yep.
And literally, you just plug it into USB. Okay, you've got your LEDs come on. Now, the grenade communicates with the base, right? So it's only going to talk to your base, or bases it's assigned to.
Yeah.
Okay, so we drop this into there. First thing it's going to do, see it's done a little dance there, could you see that? Yeah?
Yeah.
What it's doing is just communicating with the base.
Okay.
And it was just saying, do I belong to you? Yes, I do. Okay, I'm going to start charging.
Okay, so what if it wasn't the assigned base? Then what would actually come up?
An error, E would come up. Yeah, an E would come up. So what would happen is it would say to the base what's your encrypted serial number, which changes each time.
Okay.
It knows what it should be expecting. If it doesn't expect the right signal back, the right communication back, then it won't charge.
Okay then.
Yeah. And then what you have here is the C. It just gently glows brighter, dim. It just pulses very, very slowly.
Okay.
Cycles. Yeah. When it's charged, your little deep decimal point, your little dot comes on there, and that's it. And that will just stay on. And then the C will go off. It does that when it's charged.
Yeah.
So yes, that's charging. Yeah, so you were asking about the modes. Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, so we demonstrated the countdown grenade.
Yep.
Yeah. So we'll show the tilt mode. So what we're going to do is we're going to just turn it on. See, it's on G for grenade there.
Yeah.
So we're just going to cycle it through. Now first we'll hold it down till it starts flashing. Obviously you probably wouldn't do this just before you're going to deploy, you'd have it ready to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as I said before, each base remembers what mode it's in.
Okay.
So you could have, say, 3 bases,
Yeah.
1 trip, 1 shock, 1 grenade,
Okay.
if you wanted to, or whatever combination you wanted. You just
Yeah.
quickly put them on, takes 2 seconds, put it on, cock it, yeah?
Okay.
So what we do is we can cycle through the modes. So grenade, shock, tripwire. So I'm going to put it on shock mode. Hold the button down.
Yeah.
As soon as it flashes quickly, release, you're now in shock mode.
Okay.
Okay. Now 0, someone knocks that, it's going to go off right away. Yeah. You might want to add a delay in there, potentially. So 5-second delay. Okay. First thing it's doing a countdown, 3-second countdown. And it's doing that because if you put it on something and you let go,
Yeah.
it could still be shaking.
Oh, okay.
So what that 3 seconds does, so what that 3 seconds does is allow the mas-g to stabilise.
Right.
Now
okay.
just see how gently you can just touch the mas-g there. So just
Okay.
see if you can just touch it really gently. There we go. Yeah. So it starts the countdown.
Yeah. See, that was next to no fault. So
Yeah, it's very, very sensitive. And what it actually will do is it will look at its surroundings, and if there is a slight bit of continuous movement there,
Yeah.
it will take that into consideration
Oh, okay.
as well. Okay, so yeah, and once again, it's doing the little find me LEDs flashing there, the side of the board, and that'll keep flashing until you push and hold the button till it says F. Let go, then it'll turn itself off.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the that's the shock mode. We're also going to show the tripwire,
Yes.
the virtual tripwire, which obviously people are quite excited about. So obviously we need to cock the mas-g again. Very, very simple to cock the mas-g. So we turn it on, push and hold the button, take it to tripwire mode, hold the button, tripwire mode. Okay. Now 0, it's going to go off right away.
Yep.
All right. Okay. So what we would do is, let's say we want to take out a few people. So we set it to 4 seconds.
Yep.
Now, there's a couple of things that this is going to do. It's going to do the stabilisation. Now, if you can see, the segments sort of moving around.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, what that's doing is it's getting a reading of the surroundings.
Okay.
Okay. Because what you might have there is a light level.
Yep.
Yeah. It might be sunny. It might be dark. Okay.
Okay.
Now, if you've got a wall here, for
Yeah.
example, let's say you're a very, very narrow wall.
Yeah.
Okay, then obviously if it didn't have any intelligence,
Yeah.
it would go off right away
Yeah.
because there's a wall there.
Mm.
So what it actually does is it varies the intensity of its LED emitter,
Okay. Yeah.
and it finds an object.
Yeah.
Okay, and then what it does is it works backwards.
So it's essentially scanning the area.
It's
for the
exactly it.
original objects, yeah.
It's scanning the environment, the surroundings, and
Yeah.
what it's doing is it's getting a base level, okay,
Right.
which would be vastly different to somebody walking past.
Oh,
That's what it
okay.
does. So it's got quite a level of intelligence
Yeah.
built in with inside it. Now, so yeah, we've shown obviously the 3 main modes of operation
Yeah.
for the mas-g. Also, there's the remote arm and disarm controller.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, obviously, some people are aware of this already. So what we do, obviously, it's still in find me mode now. So we're just going to push the button till it's F for found, and then it's going to turn itself off again.
Okay.
Okay. Now we're going to cock the mas-g again,
Yep.
right? And we're going to turn the mas-g on. Okay. And the mas-g is in tripwire mode. Now, what we can do is with the arm disarm remote, we can cycle through the modes using the disarm button. So I've selected shock, push the button. Okay. So now, literally,
Okay.
0 seconds.
Yeah.
As soon as that was disturbed, okay,
Yeah.
detonated. Right. Obviously, we've got find me again. Push the button. Yeah. Now, Tripwire works in exactly the same way. Shock, the remote control. So all you're doing is you're just accessing the features that I've demonstrated already on here using the remote control.
Okay. What's the general distance that you can use the control from?
Depends on light level. If it's very, very sunny, that's reduced.
Yeah.
We would say 5 meters, up to 5, between 3 and 5 meters is probably a safe bet. Yeah.
And can you do this? Can you use one control on multiple mas-g's?
Yeah, I mean you can if your remote control is assigned to a mas-g, then one remote control will work on all of your mas-g's.
Okay.
Yeah. Now the app is going to allow you to configure any controller or any base against any mas-g that you have.
Okay. So you've mentioned the application that's going to come with this. Do you want to explain that in a bit more depth to us?
Yeah. So it's an app that's initially going to be for Android and for Apple. And you're going to be able to update your mas-g. Okay. So obviously as we change things, we add things, and we get a lot of feedback and people say, wouldn't it be better if when you did this happened, or when you did that happened?
Okay.
And we can build that in, and then with your mobile device, and the Bluetooth interface on the charger, you can do firmware updates and keep that all up to date.
So from the initial backing on the Indiegogo site for the mas-g, it was around £50 or £60, around about that. So how comes the price has doubled, or
Yeah, well, basically, initially, when we first developed the mas-g, it was going to use a bit like a firework, if you like, little charge with a fuse wire running through it, and then the mas-g obviously would heat up that fuse wire and set that off. We were going to sell those for about sort of 50 or 60 pence. Obviously, everyone would have to get them through us, and a lot of people that were backing it at the time said, we want it to do primers, and it's a big difference between lighting up a piece of fuse wire and something mechanical that you cock that can strike a primer and release on command. Yeah. I mean, initially, so basically the bottom of the mas-g was just a piece of aluminium, similar to the design that we have now with the magnets, and then you put your proprietary charge in there with the contacts. That slides up inside the mas-g, and then you've got your contacts inside the mas-g there. And then obviously it would heat up the wire and it would go bang. Yeah. Now obviously what we have is a mechanical blank firing system which has got literally a dozen stainless steel and aluminium machine parts. Yeah. It's got springs in there, it's stuff that moves. You've got a circuit board in there, you've got a microcontroller in there. It's worlds apart from what we had initially. Yeah. And this actually costs just as much to make as this.
Oh, right.
And that's why the cost has doubled.
So even just looking at them, obviously this is literally just a lump of metal. Yeah. And just looking at that, you can understand why the price had to rise because of it. Obviously.
Yeah, and obviously this is the result of 18 months worth of development work. Yes. Something that we hadn't planned on doing at the point where we released the Indiegogo campaign. Yeah. So yeah, I mean the mas-g is packed with technology. We've got a tri-axis 2G accelerometer. Yeah, tri-axis means it measures acceleration in all 3 directions. Okay. Up, down, left, right, front and back. Yeah. Which means that if there's any motion in any of the directions, it can detect it. It can also detect its orientation, measure its orientation. So it's got that in there. Obviously that's used for the shock mode that you demonstrated earlier. Yes, yeah. Yeah, it's got an infrared emitter and receiver. The receiver is obviously used for the arm and disarm remote control. Also for detecting the light level from the emitter when it's in tripwire mode. Yes. Works at the same time.
Speaking of the tripwire mode, we didn't touch on this earlier. What is the general range of the tripwire?
Right. The general range is between 750 and 1,000 millimeters, which is about a meter. Okay, so
around a standard door frame, maybe.
Yeah, you would put it to the side of a door, or a corridor or something like that. That's where it would be used, or an entrance to a compound. Something like that. If you had like a fence or a gate going into a compound, you'd probably use it in that situation.
Oh, okay then. So when it comes to the grenade, are you going to be bringing out any accessories with it?
Yeah, we're going to do a rubber boot, silicon boot, which is going to cover the grenade. So I mean, maybe some people don't want to get it scratched, or they're worried about hitting someone in the head. Obviously, when you throw this, you have to throw it underarm, below the head, and make sure you can see where it's going to go. Obviously, that's very important because it's quite heavy, the mas-g. But yeah, there's going to be a rubber silicone boot that we're doing. Also, we're going to do some rubber bands, which go around the waist of the mas-g head.
Yeah.
So let's say, I mean, you might want a blue one to identify yours from somebody else.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Or multicoloured bands. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're also doing a clip which goes on this rear bolt here, which you'll be able to then clip onto things if you want to. And we're also going to do a range of pouches in various prints, Coty, MTP, DPM, black, obviously.
Okay.
And we're working on them at the moment. They will go in and it'll be a single hand operation to open the pouch. So it's going to be that system where you have the like a goalpost with a slot, a tab that goes down through, and then you pull and it unlocks and opens the pouch in one action. So then you can take the mas-g out, get it deployed sort of very quickly.
Okay. Then.
Something else as well that we haven't touched on, which a lot of people have asked about, is the remote detonator.
Yes.
I think a lot of people are saying, what's the deal with the remote detonator? Now, the remote detonator is currently in conceptual phase. All the electronic work has been done already. It works in essentially the same way as laser tag, where you have a collimated, focused infrared beam. You know, laser tag, where you run around with those domes on your head, and it makes a sound. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. So it uses exactly the same system, and that's about 50-meter range.
Okay.
So we've got the same type of receiver sensor in here.
Yeah.
We've got the same LED lens, and it's going to be a small rail-mounted device that's going to go effectively. So if you can imagine, we've obviously got a bipod on there at the moment. So what you do is you would mount your remote detonator on one of your rails. Yeah. And then you've got two buttons on there. So you've got exactly the same as the arm and the disarm. Yeah. So you can disarm from a distance, 50 meters, and detonate as well.
Oh right. Okay.
So there'd be a detonate option, and then literally you would just look down the sight. So I mean, by the time it gets 50 meters away, you're probably looking at a 1 meter beam.
Okay.
So even if you are accurate to within 1 meter, you're still gonna set it off.
Oh, okay then.
So you can arm and disarm. So let's say, for example, you've got the mas-g set up in a position, and you've got your team's coming through. Yeah, so your team's coming through the doorway.
You're going to want to disarm it before you kill everyone.
Or arm it when they've come through.
Yes.
Yeah, so they radioed ahead and they said, oh, we're coming through, so you point at the mas-g, disarm the mas-g.
Yeah.
Your team comes through, rearm the mas-g on tripwire, and then it's going to take out the opposing force. Or you could have it sat there, and then you could wait till everyone comes through. You could be hiding somewhere sniping, and then boom, set the mas-g on in that way. Which is, I mean, there's nothing on the market that does anything like that.
No, definitely not.
And obviously all the technology's there, the arm and the disarm remote's doing that now, with the control. Obviously the range is limited because it's an LED, it's not focused.
Yeah.
You don't have that focus beam to give you that range. We've got a few other things in the pipeline, obviously we can't talk about. We're going to do some gloves for the mas-g as well, which are going to integrate like a tab on the thumb, so that when you open up the chamber, obviously this is a bit tricky with gloves on. So we're putting a little tab on the thumb, and then you just put the thumb in there, rotate, and then we're also going to do a speed loader for primers.
Okay.
So there's going to be a compartment on the pouch for the speed loader. So you pull the speed loader out, and you'll have, say, 5 or 6 primers in the speed loader.
I see, yeah.
It will allow you to knock that one out. Obviously, you have the tool to open this as well. You'll be able to knock one of the primers out, quickly load another primer in, and then put it back in the pouch.
It's an interesting concept.
And then you're away. And what we're trying to do is just reduce the amount of time it takes to reload. There's been a lot of talk about doing a revolving style in the future, so like a multi, triple, or possibly consecutively triple. So it will be bang after bang after bang, and that's something that we're looking at potentially doing in the future.
Okay. And obviously there was words going about possibly a strobe base. Yeah,
that's actually very much in development now, and we're going to have that ready for the summer. What that is 3 high-intensity white LEDs, and there's a very, very loud sounder in there as well. A lot of how that works will be configured by the app, but generally any of the modes will set it off in exactly the same way. So you could use tripwire, shock, or grenade mode, and then what it'll do is it will pulse and flash and make noises. So for example, if you were going into a CQB situation, into a dark room, you could set it on impact grenade.
Yes.
You could roll the grenade in there and it would just pulse, make noises, and everybody would obviously be temporarily blinded and lit up as you sort of went in and took them out.
Okay.
And you could use it as a beacon as well if you needed to, like an objective marker or something like that.
So Lee, how comes the mas-g's on pre-order only?
Well, the cost of building the mas-g is really high compared to most other products. I mean, if you took a standard AEG, it would probably cost a quarter of the sale price. The mas-g is £100 sale price, obviously 120 with VAT, but it's got an £80 build cost, which is a very, very high percentage. Now, we can't just go and have 10,000 made in the hope that people will buy 10,000 of them. So for 2017, we've got a pre-order now that's running from now until the 31st of March. That delivers in July. And then we've got one from the 1st of April until the end of July, and that delivers in November. And then there's one after which delivers in January. And we're hoping to stock the mas-g in 2018, but it will still be available directly from us. And the reason for that is, obviously, as I've explained already, with most products, the production cost of a product is a quarter of its sale value. That's because you've got to pay the distributor, and you've got to pay the retailer, and you've got to pay the shipping and logistics and all that kind of stuff. Obviously, if we were to do the same with the mas-g, the retail price would be more like £300, not £119.99. Okay, I think that pretty much covers everything. We'd like to thank you all for watching, and we hope that you get as much enjoyment out of using the mas-g as we have developing it.